Hi guys, so in the last video we already covered about the function in the Golang. So today we will be starting with the custom types in Golang. So this is really an important topic where we know right about the like in all other languages we have the concept of the classes and objects. So in the Golang we have the concept of the type. So for that, let's first create one folder. So just click on your file menu. Then you just need to open new project. Yes, just click on this. So in the Go folder, we can create one more type. So let me just create this. So we can name this as struct and let me just create this. Yeah, we can just open this and now we can create a file which is we already know right main file, and we can just name this as main. Yes, let me just write the initial basic skeleton code for Golang. So it is very simple, log.println, and here we can pass hello. Now we can open just terminal to check like everything is working fine. Main.go, right? Hello. Yes. So we already cover right how we can define the data type for an int value, for a string value. But let's say we want to define a user, right? Then how we can define a user? For a user, we can have a first name, then we can have the last name, then we can have the age. And also we can have the multiple 20, 30 properties which are defining an user. But like one way is to create three different variables like variable first name, then it is a string, then we can create a variable last name and it is also an string, then we can create a variable age which is an int. But let's say we want to use this information in multiple function, then we need to pass all those. Let's say we have the 20 values, then we need to pass the 20 variables in each and every function. To avoid this, we have the concept of type in Golang. So how we can define a type? Like in other languages, we have the concept of classes, but in Golang we have the concept of type. So you just need to use a keyword called type. Then you can define one user. Then you need to use a keyword called struct. So in this we can define all the fields related to user, like first name. Then we can define the last name, then we can define the age, right? So all these three properties are related to user. So now how we can create these users? So it is also very easy. So let's say I want to create my first user one, then you can just simply call that user. Now you can define all the properties like first name. We can have anything like, let me just have the my name as the first name, and we can define the last name as well. So last name, and for last name we can have any value. Let me have something. Yeah, then we can have the age. Let me have 23. Yeah, so this is how we can create a variable, and also we need to define the uh, property name as well. So we can have the first name, then we can have the last name, then we have the age. So now we can print this user. We can use the fmt.println, and then we can print this user similar to other variables. Let me just click on this terminal. You can clear this by using shorthand Control L. Then you can type go run main.go. Yeah. So we are getting the values first name, last name, and age, right? So this is how we can create a users. We can also create one more user. So let me create user 2 and user. And similarly we can have the property for first name, which is, let me have some name Ashish. Then we can have the property name last name, we can have Bhagava, and then we can have some property called 24. Yeah. So this is how we can create a user too. Then we can also print this user too. Yeah. Let me just click on this terminal. Let me also increase the size of this terminal. Yeah. Let me clear this. Then we can use the go run main.go. Yeah. So we are also getting the second user here. So this is how we can create a custom type in Golang. You can have any type of variables here, float, boolean, right? And also like how we can pass these information to another function, which is also very simple. So let me just create one function main. Maybe I can create a print info. Yeah, this is the fine name. We can only have the one main function in Golang. So let me just create this function print info, and here what I can do is I can just get that user. Yes, and now I can print that log dot println, and here I can print that user, right? Okay. And now let me just call that user print info, and here I can pass this user one, and again let me just again call this function. Here I can pass user to. So this is the function. Now let me click on this terminal. Then we can use Control L, and now let me run main.go. Yeah. So we can similarly also pass the uh, structs and functions. Now let me just create one more struct. So let's say I want to store the address of the user, then you can create that also, address and struct. Similar way, right? So in address we have the multiple things. For now let's have city as the string, and we can also have the country as a string. Yes. So in the struct, we can also declare a variable of struct type. So let's say this is the address for that user. So this may be type of address, right? So how we can create these variables? So I already created this user one, right? So now I can have this address field as well, and this address is type of address. Here we can have the city, or in my case it is Jaipur. Then we can have the country as well. Here we have the India. Yeah. So this is how we can create a user one struct, and here we are also assigning these embedded struct values. So let me just try to run this again, and let me just clear this user too. Yes, I open the terminal. Let me just clear this. Go run main.go. Yeah. So we are getting now Jaipur and India as well. So this is how you can use the struct in Golang. And now also like you can declare this user one as variable user one, and this is a type of user, and we can remove from here. This is also fine, right? So this is an another way of declaring things in Golang. So go run main.go. Yeah. So now also we are getting the things. And let me just talk about one more thing. So let's say you created this user one in this way. We can also create this user one in another way. So in that, what we can do is we can just create a variable like user one we created, and we can access the all the values of the struct by using dot operator. So now I am getting first name. So here I can define this as Nitesh. You can define your name. User one dot last name, which is Agarwal. Yeah, and let me just define a user one dot address dot. Then I can access city, right? It is Jaipur in my case. And now let me just pass this in our own function user one. Yes. Now let me open the terminal again. Let me clear the window and go run main.go. Yes. So we are getting the values. For the whole country, we have the empty. For age, we have the 0 because we have not defined any age for this user. That's why like we are getting the default value of integer as 0. So this is how we can create a custom type in Golang, and this is really useful when we are doing some request response and API development in JSON marshalling and unmarshalling. It is really important. So this is how we can do that, and thanks for watching this video. If you like my content, then please subscribe to my channel, and bye bye.